Welcome back to Dolphins United, the platform for Dolphins. You heard me. We back in the house. Yes, I know. I apologize to y'all. All right? I know. I've been gone for way longer than I was supposed to be gone. Okay? I know. Please accept my apology. I was gone because I went on vacation. Okay? And when I was on vacation, I was vacationing. So I wasn't about to make no videos about recaps. All right? It just, sometimes you just got to get away from the social media, get away from your phone and relax. Now, when I went on the trip originally, I thought I was going to be able to record. And it just turns out that wasn't in my spirit. So, because of that, I did not record. Now, full transparency, because we are family, I have been back since last week, okay? But I wasn't out of vacation mode yet, 1. 2, we had a big church event this past weekend, so I was getting prepared for that, and it just didn't have much time to devote to this because church, to me, is #1 on the list. If you know me by now on this channel, you know I rep Jesus Christ, so you know what it is, all right? That's #1. I'm a drummer for my church as well as the administrator for the church, so there's a decent amount on my plate, okay? So those are some of the things I had to take care of. Now I'm back, all right? We back full force. I'm not going to be doing no full-on recap of all these doggone practice. Now, if you hear some thunder in the background, y'all know I live in Central Florida. It ain't been every day because it's been hot. All right, it's kind of warm now, to be honest. But it's been hot. It ain't been too much rain, but it's raining today. So we thank the rain. It's some thunder outside. We need the rain, so I ain't too mad. You're just going to hear it in the video if you hear it. It might not be picked up by the mic. I don't know. But if you do, I apologize, but we need the rain. All right. Here's the state of the Miami Dolphins to this point. All right. I don't know what's going to happen in the joint practices. I'm going to tell you what I hope happens in the joint practices with the Texans, which starts tomorrow. But here is the state of the Miami Dolphins up till now. And at the end of the state, I'll answer a question that I'm going to ask you guys. And then I'm also going to answer myself. And then we're going to leave it at that. Because that, to me, is the true result. Or not the result. That is the button on the state of where the Dolphins are right now. Early on in practices, defense was winning some, offenses were winning some. And when I say I'm not going to give a recap, I'm not going to give a recap like by days, like every day, and then go through all the plays that happened. I'm not doing that, but I am going to give an overall recap, of course. Early on, defense was winning some, offense was winning some. And then while I was on vacation, defense just started picking things up. Like they clamped down. They wouldn't let the offense get too much deep. They were intercepting every quarterback. Tua wasn't looking that good. We also had some injuries. Waddle goes down with an injury. We know Jalen went down, but that was early on. You've had other guys go down with injuries, and we had Eichenberg fall off a cliff out of nowhere. He just lost his confidence because Phillips was beating him down. Not Phillips, sorry. Wilkins was beating him down every play, and it just ruined him, and now there's an open competition at left guard. So that's what's going on. Defense has been just destroying, for the most part, the offense. It just has not been good. In the joint practices against Atlanta, it's been back and forth. We'll have some good plays. They'll have some good plays. Offense will give up sacks. Defense on our end would get sacks, get interceptions like both defenses were winning. In the scrimmage, when we scrimmaged, defense won the day. Offense had a few plays, but defense was doing their thing. There'll be days where in the red zone we would eat, but as soon as it wasn't the red zone, offense was struggling. So it seems as if right now, based on the state of the Dolphins, the Dolphins defense is looking like a top 10 defense if the offense is still the same offense it once was. If the offense isn't the same it once was, then we don't know what our defense looks like. But it still looks good on our defense that it's been able to stop a top 10 defense, a top 10 offense from last year. Okay? There just hasn't been as much deep stuff available. And that's just the truth of what it is, because the defense is playing a lot better in the back end at safety, and they're communicating. I read something where like the communication has been really flawless between X, Elliott, and Holland. Like they are in sync, those three. And that's the type of thing that you want to hear about, right? You want to hear that the defense is communicating, they're switching, because when it's zone, you're passing guys off in zone. All right, man coverage, you roll with your guy. In zone, you're passing guys off. So there has to be really good communication in the back end to know, okay, if this guy comes through me, I might have to pass him off to you if I have another guy coming up my zone, right? Or if he's leaving my area, I'm going to let you know, hey, I got this guy coming. He's coming towards you. And they've been doing really good in making sure that they cover their area so that there's not a guy open for a second where it can be a completed pass downfield, right? Now, it's not to say that the offense hadn't been eaten sometimes, all right? You still have plays from Tyreek Hill at times. You still have plays from Mostert at times where he was getting in on wheel routes. You still have good runs. There's been some good running. In the preseason game, which I'll get to, there was some good running as well. So the running is not a fluke so far. All right, running has been looking decent. And the defense has stopped some of the runs in the backfield. Sealer, Wilkins, Agude, Phillips, Chubb, all doing their job. Getting to the running back in the backfield at times. And then at times they're getting washed in the play. Offensive line's doing their thing. Lamb doing his thing. All right, you have certain guys on the offensive line that have been holding their own. Jones been holding his own. Austin Jackson's been holding his own. And you have guys that's been struggling. Connor Williams, struggling. All right, now he's not struggling snapping, but he's struggling handling the pass rush and struggling at times on the run. Eichenberg, talked about him already, struggling, right? So there's been back and forth. But right now, defense has been killing the offense of late. And when it got to the game, it was just bad. Honestly, it was bad offense. Like, Tua didn't play. 30 of the other players, starters and backups, didn't. 29 of the other, because I think it was 30 in total. It might have been more than that, actually. So, because I heard it was like 34 because of some other guys that could have gone, but they were injured, didn't go. But 30 plus. Players sat down. Tua was amongst them, of course. I expect that he'll play in this next game for maybe a quarter, and then they'll shut him down maybe for the rest of the preseason. Him and some of the other starters, Tua being. But in this first game, it was Skyler, it was Mike, and it was the backups, and it was against backup defense. And they was giving away picks. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that all the picks were completely their fault, but they were still giving up picks. And it was just bad. It was bad. Okay, now, is it as bad as everybody was making it out to be? Absolutely not. I'm going to tell you why. We were moving the ball down the field. When we got to the doggone red zone, the green zone, all right, because that's where you're supposed to be making your money, we were falling apart. That's when those picks were coming for the most part save for one pick that actually not just a pick, because two of those picks Skyler threw, they weren't really in the red zone. It was just one he was just throwing up the ball and they were getting picked off. But Mike's was in the red zone pick. Then two other times on fourth down, I believe it was, that they failed and they had turnovers on down. So that's mainly been their issue, is they're getting to the red zone and it's a turnover on downs or it's an actual turnover, but they were moving the football aside from the picks. Defense was okay. Igbenogany looked decent. Some of the other guys looked decent as well. Agude looked okay. Channing Tindall had 9 tackles. He looked okay. So there were a few things on defense. We got some pressure on the quarterback. Did some good things. But we kind of got beat by an Atlanta team that's not supposed to be that good. Now, either Atlanta got a lot better or we got a lot worse. Because last year's Atlanta shouldn't beat, based off last year, right? Last year's Atlanta shouldn't beat last year's Dolphins in preseason, right? That shouldn't happen the way we were. Now, either we got worse or they got a lot better. If they got a lot better, cool. But if we got worse, boy, I'm telling you, it's not good. It's not good. I did not like what I saw in preseason. I'm not ready to say, this team is going 3-17. I'm not ready to say nothing like that. Not 3-17. Wow. What is that? 3-14. I'm not ready to say nothing like that. But honestly, it don't look good, right? Then after that, defense is still winning the offense as far as our training camp is concerned. You get Mike McDaniel to renege on his scheduling, saying, hey, boy, we need to work. We're going to have y'all practice on a Sunday. And I don't know if Tua got the message late. I don't know if that man was boo loving. He was with his wife and he was just in the bed. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Let's say practice was at 11 o'clock. Maybe Tua got the text at 8 in the morning. Like, yeah, man, we got practice today. You got to go, get ready for it. And then he didn't go get ready. He showed up and was like, all right, man, let's get on out there. And then just continue to lay an egg. Like, I'm not sure where his mind was at. Because if you know that you got practice, you got to warm up, you got to do something. Now, I'm pretty sure he did all those things, right? But you the starting quarterback. You can't go out there throwing 3 picks. And all of the 3 picks were bad placement or poor decisions. Like, none of the 3 picks were tip balls at the line of scrimmage. I got them, or went through the wide receiver's hands, perfect placement, and I got them. None of that. One of them was a tip, but it was behind the quarter. I'm the wide receiver. That's why it was tipped. Interception. The other 2, bad decisions. That's not the type of stuff you want to see from your starting quarterback. He got all the reps, and it was just a bad day for the quarterback. That's not good. What is good, Igbenogany, Holland, that's good. Igbenogany getting a real nice interception, that's really good. Holland getting an interception, that's really good. Can't remember who the third guy was, but he got an interception too. Good for him, right? But I don't like Tua going out there laying a straight egg when his counterparts, his buddies, just laid an egg the day before. Like, that's not good for me. I went to the game. I was there. And the offense didn't look good, right? So I was expecting that in the practice, Tua is going to show them, hey, this is how it goes, okay? This is what you guys need to be doing. That's not what happened, all right? That is not, excuse me, well, give me 1 second here. That's not what happened. Tua laid an egg. Tua can't have that. Fast forward to Monday. Tua gets in there. Tyreek Hill goes nuts. And then it's touchdown, big play to Tyreek Hill, nice play across the field to Tyreek Hill, hitting your check downs, and Tua looked a little better. So now we're back to, okay, Tua's not, falling off a cliff just yet. Everybody relax, right? Because and that's the big thing. Everybody just need to relax. RELAX, relax. All right, we still got a squad, right? Yeah, I know. Dalvin Cook just went to the Jets. They're winning a Super Bowl. I get it. All right, that's how everybody's gonna feel now, especially with them, all the rumblings of Tua's interceptions, and Tua's not the same quarterback he was last year, and Tua's falling off, and the offense is falling off, and yeah, I get it, right? The defense is not going to be as good as people think it's going to be, and the run game is going to be trash without Dalvin Cook on the team, and you had your chance, you blew it, all that. Relax. It's going to be just fine. The Jets probably going Jets. All right, they're going to do something stupid. They're kind of like the Dallas Cowboys, an accident waiting to happen. Just wait for it, all right? Give it some time. We might be straight at the end of this whole doggone thing. And looking back like, boy, we didn't know if it was going to turn out good, but man, it sure did for us, right? We got to relax. Tua and them, the offense we saw last year, in my opinion, ain't gone nowhere. Yes, we're not seeing all those same plays we saw last year. Why is that? Is it because that it's stuff, the stuff that we were doing last year ain't working? Or is it because that we got to make sure that if that isn't working, we got other stuff we can go to, so we're trying those things out, right? Like, let's use common sense. If you know the plays last year work, why are you practicing them? They work. We're not practicing those plays because they work. And we've seen them run those plays, and they still work. Because Tyreek Hill yesterday was wide open on a lot of plays. The plays, the bread and butter joints across the middle, they work. They're not going to be practicing those too much because they work. They're practicing the stuff that they don't know if works or not. So that's the stuff that they're working on. That's why Tua looks really bad. Can he still do the other stuff? Yes. Does it still work? Absolutely it does. But now we're practicing. So they're practicing new stuff. And some of the new stuff ain't working. All right? They're realizing that, well, at least against Fangio's defense, that new stuff ain't working. So they got to go back to the drawing board, try to figure out some things, try to figure out how they can beat certain zones and everything like that. That's what they're trying to do now. All right? We have to relax a little bit, take our time, breathe, and look at the whole situation, and we'll see, all right, we still got a squad. We still got a good chance to do some good things. We're not dead in the water just yet. This still has a chance to be a Super Bowl squad. Now, when it comes to the joint practices coming up, we need to see a way better Tua. We need to see a good defense against a rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud, all right? We need to see some confusion on his part. We need to see Tua dicing and slicing. Now, this is the same type of defense he's going to be going up against that just brought over the defensive coordinator from the 49ers. Why is that key? Because the 49ers, all right, although it's not the same players, are the team that gave Tua trouble first. And then when he went to play the Chargers, they gave him the same type of trouble, right? They got a little deeper in the zone. They didn't let up too much stuff in the middle, although he did have chances at completing a lot of good passes. They were just off. Guys were open, and the passes were just off. But they still gave him a hard time, made the windows a little bit smaller. So, it just threw off the timing and everything like that. that same defensive philosophy, although the players are not the same, is going to be something that he's going to have to go up against in the joint practices these next 2 days. So I want to see Tua graduate to a level where he's slicing and dicing this defense and things are looking a little bit better than they looked last year versus the same scheme, all right? Because it's not the same players versus the same scheme. And I want to see him eating on big plays as well, okay? That's what I want to see from Tua over the next 2 days. I'm not saying it's going to be a whole bunch of them, but a whole bunch of them wouldn't be too bad either. But Tua got to redeem himself, and he's got to start playing a little bit more seriously than he's been playing. Maybe taking it a little more seriously. I don't know. I'm not sitting here saying that he's not, but it looks like he's just practicing when he really needs to be getting ready for the season, right? So I want to see him lock in and get ready for the season where he's sniping now. That's the level of Tua I want to see in these next 2 joint practices, especially since he's going to be playing more than likely on Saturday, okay? So I want to see that, and then I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Y'all will be fine. We can all relax. We need to relax anyway, but we'll all be able to relax because we saw that. And on defense, I better not see C.J. Stroud ripping us a new one. Because Fangio's defense, although it's going to be vanilla, it's not going to be the full thing that you're throwing at him. Whatever we throw at Tua, we've been throwing at Tua, we need to be throwing at C.J. Stroud, and he needs to be reacting the same way Tua has, right? That's what you want to see. If Tua's throwing interceptions against this same stuff, we want to see C.J. Stroud throwing interceptions against this same stuff. Because if they're throwing the same stuff for him, and he's having success against it, that looks bad on Tua, don't it? Now, I know some people want to see that, actually. They want to see that because it validates everything they feel about Tua. But us real Dolphin fans know that that's not what we want to see. We want to see C.J. Stroud struggle against our defense because he's a rookie and he's supposed to, right? Run game. I want to see the run game continue on the path that it's on. Run game got to be good for us because we're going to need the run game during the season, all right? So these are some of the things I want to see. Please let me know some of the things that you want to see in the joint practices coming up. Now, after all of that I done said, going into training camp, I had us as like a 11-12 win team. That's me, okay? Based on practices, the state of the Dolphins right now, I got us winning like 10, 11 games. All right, so it hasn't gone down much, but it's definitely gone down a little bit. And although we do need to relax, we do have eyes. We can see that the offense isn't clicking on the same level as it was. So I'll bring it down a game. Right now, my ceiling for the season is 10-11 rather than 11-12. It's not that big a difference, but my excitement has come down slightly. It has. And that's just the truth because I'm not seeing anything that's telling me that we're winning a Super Bowl this year yet. I'm just not seeing it. So because of that, I'm having faith, but it's not the same excitement level like I would have had if we didn't see all the stuff we've seen so far. All right. So based on the state of the Dolphins, I have us as a lesser Super Bowl favorite than I did prior to training camp. Let me know how you feel about that. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all already know what it is. Fins up till we die. I'm out.